For hundreds of years, we've believed one simple idea: technology destroys old jobs, but creates new ones. The tractor replaced farm workers, but factories hired them. Computers replaced typists, but created programmers. The internet killed thousands of businesses, but created entirely new industries. Every major invention followed the same pattern. Something disappears. Something new takes its place. But what if this time it's different? What if, for the first time in history, the replacement jobs never arrive? That sounds like science fiction, but honestly, look around. You check into your own hotel. You scan your own groceries. You order food from a screen. You talk to customer service bots. You use AI to write emails, AI to edit photos, AI creates music, AI writes software, AI answers legal questions, AI helps doctors, AI designs buildings, AI creates videos, and somehow we're treating all of this like it's normal. Maybe the strangest thing about artificial intelligence isn't what it can do. Maybe it's how quietly it arrived. Nobody woke up one morning and said, "Oh, it's here. Work is ending." It just started happening. One small task at a time, one industry at a time, one job description at a time. For most of human history, your value was connected to your labor, what you could build, what you could lift, what you could fix, what you could remember, what you could calculate. But artificial intelligence doesn't get tired. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't ask for weekends. It doesn't retire. It doesn't call in sick. And every single month, it gets better. There's a phrase economists have started using: automation anxiety. But I don't think that that's what people are feeling. I think people are sensing something much bigger. I think people are starting to wonder, what happens if society simply doesn't need as much human labor anymore? Maybe that's why you've suddenly started hearing conversations about things like universal basic income, 4-day work weeks, post-work economics, governments studying AI displacement. People argue about whether universal basic income is a good idea or a bad idea. Honestly, I think they're asking the wrong question. Maybe UBI isn't the story. Maybe UBI is the admission. The admission that people at the highest levels are at least considering as a future where millions of traditional jobs simply just don't exist anymore. Think about that. For 200 years, the question has been, what do you do for work? What if one day that question stops making sense? And before someone says, they said this about computers, you're right, they did. But computers mostly help people work faster. Artificial intelligence is different. It doesn't just help, it replaces. A junior graphic designer, a customer service representative, a copywriter, a translator, a researcher, an editor, a programmer, an assistant. Not perfectly, maybe, not all at once, but little by little. And here's the part that almost nobody talks about. Artificial intelligence doesn't have to replace everyone. It only has to replace enough people to completely change the economy. If one AI system can do the work of 5 people, what happens to the other 4? And what happens when the AI gets even better next year? And the year after that? Maybe that's why so many people have this strange feeling that the future arrived without asking permission. It doesn't look like the movies. There aren't flying cars yet. There aren't robot armies marching down the street. Instead, you open your laptop, type a sentence, and a machine creates something that would have taken a human hours. Maybe we're waiting for some dramatic announcement, some government speech, some giant corporate press conference. But maybe there won't be one. Maybe one day you'll simply notice that the people around you are working less. Stores have fewer employees. Offices have fewer employees. Call centers disappear. Entry-level jobs become impossible to find, and nobody can quite explain when it happened. The strangest part is, this might not even be a bad future. Maybe people work less and live more. Maybe society adapts. Maybe entirely new systems appear. Or maybe we're standing at the beginning of the biggest economic transformation since the Industrial Revolution. Nobody knows, but I think history might remember this moment differently than we do. I don't think people 50 years from now will say, that's when artificial intelligence arrived. I think they'll say, that's when human work stopped being the center of society. And maybe one day, people will ask someone, what do you do? The same way we ask today, do you still own a horse? Not because horses disappeared, but because the world changed, and almost nobody noticed it happening. See you tomorrow, guys.